You know, we upset a few people the other day. Well, no, we didn't upset a few people. We upset one specific person in the comment section.
Who was it?
I can't tell you his name, I don't remember, but do you know why we upset him?
Why?
Talking about Love Island.
What's wrong with Love Island?
Well, apparently, these lot don't watch Chelsea podcasts to hear about Love Island.
I thought Love Island and Chelsea are sort of inextricably connected.
When you got Ben Chilwell messaging every bird that's ever been on there, then yeah, I suppose you have.
If you were a footballer, you would do that though, wouldn't you?
What?
Like if you were a single footballer, you would be messaging every single Love Island girl.
No. I'd be letting them message me. Don't you? Mate, you never send the first message.
You've definitely sent a first.
You've sent a lot of...
Mate,
you
what was your go-to first message? You up?
Yeah. No. I don't know. Never done the first message.
Bollocks.
Never.
Bollocks. You absolutely have.
Listen.
That's so wrong. Look at him.
With a face like this, you don't send the first message.
Face for radio.
You just send the little love art eyes.
Oh.
And then you go, and then when they go, hold on, like what was all that about? Go, oh, my mate had my phone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
For a man of all the chat that you possess, your pickup lines are wanting. I'm a bit disappointed, actually. I was expecting like a really cheesy, like one-liner from you.
They'll get something cheesy. No, treat him mean, mate. Treat him mean.
Treat him mean.
One man who we may be treating mean is Raheem Sterling, because we've got to talk about Sturbo today. He's been linked with a move away, conflicting reports about that. We're also going to speak about other players that have been linked with moves away, including Armando Broja, who's been linked with Everton, amongst, well, a couple of clubs that he's been linked with, hasn't he, to be fair, Broja. Yeah. And then we're going to speak about some horror news we've had this morning.
What's that?
Regarding our boy, Nicholas Jackson.
It's not looking good, bruv.
It's not looking good. We speak about Julian Alvarez. We haven't spoke about the new boy tossing.
How dare we?
I've been tossing and turning thinking about Adarabayo. I can't pronounce his surname. How is it? Adarabayo. There you go. We speak about him as well. So we've got a lot to cover in today's video. Before we get into it, do me a massive favour. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button as well and head over to the description where Josh's channel is linked so you can subscribe to that one as well. Also linked in the description today, we've got a little website that we use for all of our stats and facts. No,
a little cheeky app. You use this all the time.
Is it an app or a website?
It's both.
Okay.
You won't shut up about it. I don't know why you don't keep talking about it. It's really annoying, actually.
SofaScore. We get all of our stats from SofaScore.
Do you know what I love the most from SofaScore is the average positions.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting graphic. For every game, they give you the average positions. It's very useful to find out what the formations are. I use it in all of my videos as well.
And it might shock quite a few people to learn this, but I'm actually not the most academic. So for someone like me, I know, Jaw's hitting the floor. Someone like me, SofaScore is an important one because it's very easy to use. Like it's not, it's not too much mumbo jumbo.
Live scores, team sheets, formations, bang. That's all you need to know.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, link in the description. It's a very good app. We use it all the time.
Let's get in to our boy, Raheem Sterling.
Toxic X, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're using the Love Island analogy, this guy would be coming in and he'd always be letting you down in the key moments.
Well, if we're using the Love Island analogy, when he did come in and we gave him 325 grand per week as a wage, we were probably putting all our eggs in one basket.
We were. I mean, the Love Island prize is only 50 grand.
Well, there you go. There you go.
It just tells you.
And then Raheem Sterling, he came at the start of the season, so he was an OG, weren't a bombshell. No. When they January
he was at the start.
Bombshell signings. Yeah, so he was at the start, he was an OG, but now our head has been turned.
Todd Bowley picked him. Todd Bowley, that was it. Todd Bowley's first.
And
pick.
he hasn't even been picked to go to Casa Amor or Euro 2024 as we know it. No, let's not.
How long can we keep doing this?
I tell you what, that one fella that did not like the Love Island chat, he's probably had a heart attack and we're only fucking five minutes into the video. Seriously, it's great TV. You should be watching it.
Yeah. Are you watching it this year? I haven't even watched it yet.
I haven't watched it in years. Fuck that.
Well, let's watch it. Yeah. Let's get into it. Maybe we should do a Love Island review. I'll tell you what we should do, and we'll let the comments decide.
Love Island watch along instead of football.
No, exactly. We'll let the comments decide if they want this. Dating advice with Joey and Josh. Whole video.
No man would ever go without a woman again if they took my dating advice. Raheem Sterling to Fenerbahce.
Yeah.
Bit of a random one, isn't it? Fenerbahce, although it's not that random because who's the manager of Fenerbahce now?
Tell me.
Jose Mourinho. No?
Jose.
God,
I keep getting told off about the jerk.
You do.
I do. I really am getting it.
Yeah, but at Chelsea, we used to sing Jose
Mourinho. All the time.
Yeah. It is Jose, to be fair, though. You really need to, you need to fix up on that.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
Is
Didn't
it Fenerbahce?
at school,
Is it Fenerbahce that he's gone to?
Yes, I think it is Fenerbahce.
It is Fenerbahce, isn't it? Yeah. What are Fenerbahce famous for?
Graham Souness.
No. Incorrect. One thing and one thing only.
Go on.
Wayne Rooney's Man United debut.
Ah.
That was Fenerbahce,
I'm thinking Graham Souness taking a massive flag and planting it in the middle of the pitch. Was that not Fenerbahce versus Galatasaray?
I don't know. I ain't got a fucking
Wait, you
clue,
haven't been
mate.
studying Graham Souness' career?
I've been studying the old Natasha Bedingfield. I've got a good one. So's he.
Yeah,
so Fabrizio Romano has already pretty much come out and denied this. It was looking like potentially there was going to be a move. Raheem Sterling to Fenerbahce. I don't know whether there would have been a price tag on it. Do we think that we would get any money for Raheem Sterling? Is that a mad statement to say? Do we think we get any money for him?
I mean, we'll get money. How much money, though? I mean, considering Galatasaray, another Turkish team, came in for Hakim Ziyech, how much did they pay for Hakim Ziyech, hey?
10 mil, was it?
It wasn't anywhere near that.
No.
I think it was like free in the end.
Right, okay.
So that tells you everything you need to know. I mean, I can't see him going to big money, for big money to that sort of nation.
Today's version of Raheem Sterling is better than today's version of Hakim Ziyech, no?
Yes, but I mean, Fenerbahce aren't going to have, 60 million in the bank waiting to spend on a big name player like that. Back in the day, I feel like the Turkish Super League had a bit more money sort of floating around. Do you remember?
Yeah, but do you remember like the uproar when they'd...
Oh,
someone's just crashed a car right there.
Yeah.
There'd be like a bang average player go to Turkey and they'd be greeted by like thousands of fans in the airport. So I can never forget this, I don't know why. Like, I just remember watching Sky Sports News, and someone, it was a Fenerbahce or someone, signed Darius Varsell. And mate,
he got some goals. Come on, he got some goals in the Prem.
Yeah. That's how Man City should be remembered.
Yes.
Darius Varsell.
Yeah.
Richard Dunn.
Yeah. Gareth Barry.
No, he was signing. Good. He was a signing. He come once who were good.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, Man
Adam
City
Johnson.
are very much less said about the back. So Raheem Sterling, he'd be a massive coup for him, massive signing for him. You could imagine there would be like fan hysteria if he was to sign, but ultimately he's not going to want to go. I think Raheem Sterling is very likely now to be able to sit there, look at his England career and look at the fact that, let's be honest, that's over. Once you go, you don't really come back from international football. Looking at that and thinking, okay, I'm going to sit out here and collect for the next 2 years my 325 grand per week. If I'm in and out of the lineup, it is what it is. Ultimately, you would hope in this situation, or especially us as the club would hope, that we can get someone come in with enough interest and enough allure for Raheem Sterling as well to be able to move on. I think the only option really is a loan. Are we harsh in our stance here that Raheem Sterling needs to go?
I think we've got to talk about this, right? Because he is third in terms of the goals and the assist chart for Chelsea. He's third in the expected goals and expected assists as well, only behind Cole Palmer, who's had the season of his life, and Nicholas Jackson, who also has had a pretty good season, right? But for 325 grand, the point that we're trying to make is 325 grand a week, he should be outperforming those stats, shouldn't he? He should have been right up there. He should have been playing week in, week out, one of our better players. And what we're seeing more often than not is that he's letting us down. But do you know what I watched the other day? There was a brilliant video that Chelsea put up on their YouTube channel of every single goal that we scored last season. And I think it was an hour long.
102 of them?
Yeah, there was a lot of goals. A lot of goals.
Right,
a lot more than the previous season, let's put it that way. And if you haven't watched that video, go onto Chelsea's YouTube channel after this video and just enjoy it, because it's an hour long of just pure joy and fun, because you don't see all the games that we lost and drew.
There you go.
Just see all the goals.
There you go.
And I watched some of the goals that Raheem Sterling scored, and some of them pretty good. Free kicks, couple of free kicks, very good free kicks. There were a couple of ones in there. There were two, I think, that stuck out.
Kicks?
Yeah, there were two that stuck out for me. There was
I know the Newcastle free kick.
There was another one as well. I can't remember who it was against.
I tell you what, do you remember?
Almost carbon copy.
Do you remember he hit the bar?
Yes.
Bournemouth away? Was it Bournemouth away? 0-0. Sturbo hit the bar from a free kick.
Yeah. I mean, Burnley game, he looked like he was a world beater. Luton,
God, he was great in that game.
Luton, he looked very good.
I was at Luton game.
Yeah,
he was good
tough opposition, those two.
Yeah.
Tough opposition.
Yeah. He looked half decent on the opening day against Liverpool, I actually remember.
Yeah.
It's bad, isn't it? Because we're not bad, but, we're looking at this and we're going, right, yeah, Raheem Sterling's a man, you move on. Then you remind me of those memories and I think, oh, God, do you know what? Actually, it's pretty good. But at the same time, 325 grand a week. Now, I get that you can always counter this by going, Malang Sarr's on this, blah, blah, blah. But that's the exception to the rule or something we would like to change as well. It just specifically happens that we're talking about Raheem Sterling here. Yeah. Now, 325 grand a week is a lot. But if you put Cole Palmer on 325 grand a week and the next few seasons he replicates what he's done this season, I'm not going to moan about it. I'm really not. But when you go 8 goals in 31 appearances for Raheem Sterling this season, bearing in mind he started the season, I don't want to call it on fire, but he was warm. He was very warm at the start of the season. He was doing very well.
Toasty.
And then, failed to really have consistency going forward. In patches, he was good, but consistently, he wasn't, a man that was able to change games for us. And that's a key thing there, right? Without the ability to change games, we don't have the famous 4-3 win over Manchester United, Without the ability to change games, we don't potentially win a few of the games that towards the back end of the season, that we were pulling out sort of last gasp winners. Maybe Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park comes to mind. A couple of, even the draw against Aston Villa, we would have lost that game. And what I'm saying is, Raheem Sterling, for me, doesn't really seem like the sort of player that when games are going against you, you've got that plan B, you've got that thing that you can really go in the toolbox. And I understand that there were performances like the 4-4 draw against Manchester City where he had Kyle Walker on toast. There were those performances when he rolled back the years. But ultimately, I just feel like, let's say, for example, with a Cole Palmer, who I know is not, the direct replacement for Raheem Sterling, but with, for example, a Cole Palmer, you always know what you're going to get. And even in more underwhelming games where he doesn't completely run the show, you're still going to get, a solid performance out of Cole Palmer. And with Raheem Sterling, he has the ability to go missing sometimes in games. So on 325 grand a week, I don't think that I can have a player that justifies the wage if they're not a guaranteed first name on the team sheet. I personally believe if you're the highest earner, you should be the first name on the team sheet, or you should definitely be a nailed-on starter. At this point, Raheem Sterling isn't. I also look at the business we do going forward, and then I think, okay, that could hinder us in potential deals because let's say, for example, we want to bring a big name signing in. They're going to want big name signing money. And if the benchmark is up there because of Raheem Sterling, we're going to have to potentially hinder our wage structure or miss out on some of the signings because of that fact there. So I just think the whole package, it's not me saying he can't deliver, it's not me saying he can't do a job, and it's not me saying he can't be useful in an Enzo Maresca system. I just think the whole package, the bad outweighs the good. Could you counter that at all?
I think for me, he is one of the more experienced players, and we're desperate for experience now. So look, for me, I'm aligned with you. I think I would probably sell him now, but I'm gonna go on the other side just to sort of counter. He did score very good goals. He is a clinical finisher when he gets in the. Maybe that's stupid. Maybe he isn't a clinical finisher. He can score some decent finishes, right? Let's just say that. He doesn't do it every single time.
He's a complete opposite of a clinical finisher,
he's not a very good passer in the final third. I'm actually going the other way now, aren't I? I think the only sort of shining light for Raheem Sterling right now is that he is that sort of experienced player. I think beyond that, I can't think of any redeeming qualities to him. And that's me really trying to sort of back him up. He scored some good goals for us this season, but they were against poor teams. I really, this is the thing, mate. I struggle to justify it. And I've tried with Raheem Sterling, bearing in mind, his sort of CV and everything, to sort of back him and say he could come good for us. The fact is, mate, he's going to be 30 in December. he's sort of at the tail end of his career now, and he isn't going to be a Thiago Silva player where he gets better into his early 30s. He's going to regress into his early 30s.
With 2 years or so left on his contract, obviously in an ideal world, we're hoping someone comes in, potentially the Saudis, potentially someone else with a bit of money to burn and lays down 25, 30 mil for him. We don't live in an ideal world, unfortunately. So what would you take and be content with? Not saying what you'd be over the moon with. What would you be content with price-wise?
Honestly, 20 million. I'd take 20 million now.
Content?
Yeah, I would.
I'd be pretty buzzing with 20 million.
Yeah, but considering what did we sign him for? What did we sign him for? 60
45.
Yeah.
Without add-ons. But I don't know whether
I
he achieved those add-ons. Probably not really when you look at our form as a club over that year, but maybe personal accolades.
Even personal,
I'm not too sure.
Done that much.
I'm gonna throw it out there, mate. I would I don't want to sound disrespectful because I really don't mean it in that way, but I'll probably be pretty happy with between 10 and 15
I would
at
take
this
that.
point.
To be honest with you, Matt, I would take 5.
It's getting wages off the books, mate.
If we got rid of the wages, I think I'd take 5. And like I say, there aren't enough or any redeeming qualities for us as Chelsea fans now. And look, we've got slated in the comment section for not backing Raheem Sterling quite a few times. And I've really tried to analyse him and see what he was bringing to us. And the more I analyse it, the more I actually get annoyed about it. Like some of those passes that he could have done, where he could have laid it off and we could have scored
2-3 times, went for on goal, did it against Aston Villa. Yeah. That could have cost us the game.
Yeah.
Did it at Molineux against Wolves. That could have cost us the game. You know, and that's just off the top of my head. I've just thought of 2 of them there. Yeah. You know, the sort of arguing over the penalty against Leicester to then go and miss it as well. Like, yeah,
the free kick where he puts it in Rosette. Who was that against? Do you remember that one?
That was against Leicester,
and then he got hooked after that, and then we won the game.
He had a horror show.
That was a shocker,
day, didn't he?
And bearing in mind, Maresca is there, by the way, watching that front row.
Oh, God, he's hardly put himself in the shop window, Maresca there, has he?
I think this is the summer now that you have to say that Raheem Sterling, even the biggest exponents, people that really back Raheem Sterling, I think this is the summer where people go.
So if he does
go,
best moments he's given us? He's given us a couple of all right moments. Sturbo, no?
One of the free kicks, maybe.
I'll give you one. In Bowley's first season, there was far and few between when it came to any real cause for celebration. But we did have one really good moment at Stamford Bridge when we beat Dortmund 2-0. Sterling scored the first.
Wasn't that the goal where he actually fluffed it about 8 times and then managed to score? Well, didn't he sky it for he actually missed it completely, the ball. Then he turned around, hooked it, and then scored. Was that not the one? And then it was a massive deflection.
I have selective memory.
Yeah.
So I choose to remember the good.
The actual goal.
And that means I'm still remembering Sterling's goal against Germany in Euro 2020. Yeah. So, you know, it's all right. It's all right. Sterling could have
been the hero if Harry Kane could have done the square ball way.
Carlos is at the door.
Carlos, go on.
Carlos. He's at the door.
My man, Carlos, or your man,
Carlos. He's got your. You've gone for a burrito for lunch, haven't you? Here he goes.
Right.
Here he goes. He's off.
See ya.
Hello, Carlos. You outside?
Hello, calling from Uber driver. I'm outside.
Yeah, we're coming out now, mate. Right, lunch is served. You went for a burrito. Yeah. I went for some red bream with rice. I know these lot are bothered about that, so I need to make sure that.
But you didn't get red bream.
What did I get?
Curry.
Oh no, I ordered 2. I ordered 2 dishes. Yeah, I got the red bream for lunch.
There you go. You're on a diet.
Just a bit.
Doesn't need it, lads.
From one man who may or may not be leaving to one man who we're pretty sure definitely is going to be leaving. That is Armando Broja. Talk is now hotting up between Chelsea and Everton, we are led to believe, for a £30 million deal. At a glance, at first hearing, that sounds like a pretty good deal our end for me, because obviously Armando Broja went on his loan spell to Fulham. We thought that he might be a little bit better than he was. He wasn't. However, they did have an informed striker there at the time, and maybe because of that reason, he didn't get the amount of minutes that possibly, you know, he might have got at another club if he had gone on another loan spell. Does it surprise you to hear that Everton are in at 30 million for Broja? Yes,
for quite a few reasons. One, 30 million is way over what he should be worth, to be honest with you. I think in our predictions, by the way, do you know we did that video? I think we said 10. I think we were happy with 10. So that tells you
mad
everything.
Though, isn't it? Because Broja, when he went through that sort of purple patch he had at Southampton,
yes.
Then I'm looking at him and I'm going, this boy could move for 50 mil one day or something like that. Or ideally, he could lead the line for Chelsea. I remember the match when he played against Wolves at Stamford Bridge. Took the ball on the turn outside of the area. Lovely little finish in there. So Broja's definitely someone that I really thought had sort of star potential and a lot of talent. But ultimately, the ACL injury he did, it's touch and go. It's a bad one. It's touch and go whether you come back from that. It'll always have a bit of feeling or a bit of taste in my mouth because he done it in a mid-season friendly. What even is that?
How many times has that happened to us, by the way?
Mate, you have pre-season friendlies. You don't have mid-season friendlies. And if you do have them, you definitely don't have some idiot looking to crunch Armando Broja, take him down. I can't remember the challenger it is that done it, but he's never really looked the same since. Similar injuries. You have Michael Owen, had a similar injury. Playing for England against Sweden. Wasn't even a challenge. He just done it to himself. He was taking the ball and just done it to himself. He was never really the same after. Never hit the heights anywhere near the heights that he had before after that injury, although some could argue his career was already on a bit of a downwards trajectory. Alan Shearer done a similar injury to Armando Broja. All many years ago when he was at Blackburn Rovers, so before he had even moved to Newcastle and before he had even had the chance to break the records that he went on to break, he did a similar injury and clearly, with knowing what we know from history and what happened after that, did go on to do big things. So the jury's out, but what we've seen in recent evidence is that injury has had a significant impact and a negative impact, I should say, on Armando Broja's career. So if we were to get 30 mil from Everton, do you think that's a good deal for us?
I think it's a great deal. I'm worried about how logistically it actually happens. Because, Everton have just had a points deduction for overspending on their PSR. How the hell are they going to afford 30 million? Where's this 30 million coming from? They've had a failed takeover bid.
It would be quite Everton to spend that.
Yeah, it would. But they don't even know who's in charge of the football club right now. So, look, maybe it's wishful thinking that thinking that Everton going to be able to cough up the money. I would take it in a heartbeat. I don't think that Broja now, looking at it, is ever going to be Chelsea standard. And I even think with 2 or 3 successful seasons, I'm not sure he'll be Chelsea standard. The fact that Everton are in for him is interesting in that they've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is a similar player to Broja, but obviously can't keep fit either. So, to have those two interchanging sort of on the injury bench, is a bit worrying from them as well.
If it does go right for Armando Broja, though, he has got the physical attributes to really be a player that I think could thrive in English football, especially the Premier League. Look at his physicality, his pace. Maybe isn't what it once was before the injury, but he is a man that you would imagine, in a good team like even that Southampton team that got relegated. He looked really decent in that side. So if he could rediscover the form, like I say, his physical attributes actually put him in a not a dying breed, but, a pool of strikers.
It's unusual. Do you remember there was a game against Brentford that he played? I remember this quite vividly because I think it was at Stamford Bridge. He made Ben Mee look like an absolute, pony defender.
Yeah,
he absolutely bossed him. He did him for pace. He did him for strength. He out-techniqued him. There were so many parts of his game that looked amazing.
Season when he was coming in off the bench, I thought he looked like a good impact player and I thought he was someone that could be important for us. So, yeah, it's going to be a tale of what could have been with Armando Broja. There is one thing, though, that makes us think that maybe, just maybe, we might want to hold our horses ever so slightly when it comes to moving Armando Broja on, and that is the potential that we could be without our man Nicholas Jackson for quite a while. Word has it, he suffered a serious sprain,
yeah,
in national duty for Senegal.
Which can be like ligament, like damage-esque almost. That's like a serious sprain is quite a bad injury actually.
How long can you be out?
2 or 3 months minimum. It could be for a really serious sprain. It's bad. It's a bad one. But saying that, mate, I'm of the opinion, and you might disagree with me here, I would take the gamble now. If we get a bid of £30 million, I would sell Broja and try and move on for another striker in the meantime.
Well, actually, what I do think this does is, I think, and it could be a silver lining to the cloud that is cast over us now, and that silver lining is the fact that now, is it going to push the urgency for us to go and reinvest and for us to go and look at that specific number 9 position in the transfer window, as we are hearing we have been? Because yes, we can look at Christopher Nkunku and we could go, but we could deputise him there. But again, the best ability, his availability, and he hasn't been available all that much. So I think that really we need to be looking here at going and getting a number 9 and bringing someone in because of the fact that we don't know where Datro Fofana is going to be. We don't know whether Nkunku's fitness will hold up. We don't know if we're going to have Broja here next season. And what we do know is that at least for a small period of time, potentially a longer period of time, we're going to be without Nicholas Jackson. Julian Alvarez is a man that has been linked to Chelsea in recent days. All the media sort of sources, all the media outlets are reporting about it. They're saying that Manchester City want a price tag of 70 million for Julian Alvarez.
Bargain.
Is it a bargain?
Yes. For a player of his quality. Do you know what's always funny? And I always laugh about this, but obviously I'm a football manager expert and I love the game. Julian Alvarez was like one of the OG wonder kids about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even earlier than that, like when he was 17, 18 coming through. And he's living up actually to the hype. You know, a lot of these wonder kids don't do that, but I think he is. He's 24 years old. He scored quite a lot of goals for City, actually. 20 goals in his couple of years there. So it's all right for a player that's been in and out of
20
the team.
goal involvements this season, which I think is double what he mustered up the season before. The season before was very much the season of Erling Haaland. Despite Erling Haaland finishing as the Premier League top goal scorer this season, we've seen Julian Alvarez come into it a little bit more. Obviously versatile, can play across the front line, also can play well in that second striker role. Much like Jackson, good at taking the ball in a turn, very good in tight spaces. And coming from a Man City team that constantly come up against teams that want to put men behind the ball, you would imagine that, much like Cole Palmer was when we saw him come in, he's adapt in that sort of area where teams are looking to be ultra defensive against you and catch you on the counter and
But
whatnot.
you care a lot about height. You're always quite worried about height.
I've always been worried about my own height, to be honest. But do you know what? I feel like God probably made me shorter to give everyone else a chance.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. You're knocking people out there
That's
6
what my
foot
mum
tall.
used to tell me. So, yeah,
We're all the same height lying down. That's what you always told me,
that is it. But I do look at his height, and that is a massive concern.
Does it worry
Alvarez,
you?
It does massively worry me.
Do you not think that modern football has moved on from that big striker role? Like, if you think about it now, look at the Premier League teams. How many Premier League teams have a massive target man up front for them now? I would say Haaland.
Okay, Haaland.
Who else?
Well, you're gonna rubbish it and you're gonna laugh here, but I think you'd be going over the top. I would also say that Arsenal have a very good target man, someone that's good in the air at converting headers.
You're joking.
I'm not joking.
Gabriel Jesus.
No,
You're joking.
King Kai.
You can't be talking about the guy that I'm talking about. Have you seen his heading stats? His heading stats are awful.
Nah,
they're not good.
Nah, I'm not having it.
They're not good.
I agree. I believe you that the stats aren't good, but I always say go on the eye test. Havertz is good.
I disagree. He's
good
not.
in the
He's
air.
not definitely a target man.
Come on.
No, he's
Josh,
not.
he's
no,
good. Let's not rewrite history. You had to go at me for doing this about Mason Mount, yeah?
No.
Havertz is good in the air.
I mean, he's average in the air. Like, actually, based on the stats and the heading chances and the layoffs and that sort of thing, he's middle.
Okay,
he's
he's
middle
better
of
than
the
Julian
road.
Alvarez in the air.
Yes, he's better
Point
than
proven.
Julian Alvarez.
Okay, let's look at the other Premier League top goal scorers. Ollie Watkins, is he good in the air?
I mean, no, not really. He's not known for being air. He's not known for being good in
Dominic
the air.
Solanke's got to be good in the air.
No, but they're all pace merchants. They're all like guys that want the balls over the top, not into their chest, into their heads.
I'm just realising all of the Premier League top goal scorers I'm naming are all quite tall and can all head a ball.
They're tall. They're not winning target man headers, or they're not scoring like 30% of their goals with headers. They're not.
Okay.
That era is gone. The type of football is over. Emery is not
Nothing's
playing.
ever over.
It's over.
Nothing's ever over, mate.
What?
Look at
Just
fashion.
comes back round.
Look at fashion.
What? So you think Giroud is going to be top goal scorer in the Euros?
In the 90s,
Probably will
everyone,
do, by the way.
listen, in the 90s, everyone was wearing oversized clothing. Yeah?
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah,
Okay.
fair.
Then what happened?
Skinny
Then
jeans.
Skinny jeans and muscle fits, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
and
miss
then now,
that era,
now
don't you?
what's happening again?
You miss your skinny jeans, don't you?
I still wear skinny
Yeah.
jeans. I'm still wearing them. I don't care.
You love a muscle fit tee, don't you?
I've been rocking the combats recently, like these ones.
Get the badge in. Get the badge in.
Very
higher.
Get the badge in.
You had to do it once per episode.
You got to do it.
That's the rule.
But what I'm saying is things go in and out of fashion, mate.
Well, what about this, mate? Let's go back to the stats, because you said 20 goal involvements for Alvarez. It's actually 32 in all comps.
Okay.
So 32 in 54 games. I had a look at Benjamin Sesko. He's 20 in 42 games. Nicholas Jackson is 23 goal involvements in 44 games, which means that Alvarez has got, per 90, has got like a goal involvement sort of every 0.6 times per game. Jackson has got 0.52 and Sesko 0.47.
Okay.
So, based on that, Alvarez is the most clinical. But you would say that Alvarez is playing in the best team. He's playing in the most games. He's playing in some tournaments that are easier to score in than others. And he's playing in the games that probably Haaland wouldn't be playing in, so therefore would have got a few more goals. But to say this, right, to say that we're desperate to sign a number 9 and Nicholas Jackson is actually better than Sesko in terms of goals and assists per 90, it's quite revealing, isn't it? We're quite dismissive of Jackson.
This is why stats can lead you down the garden path, mate, and take you to the wrong place. Because let's say, for example, right, straight away you say about Julian Alvarez. Before we move on to Sesko, you say about Julian Alvarez's sort of goal scoring accolades there.
Yeah.
Did the form or the high percentage of shot conversion translate with Raheem Sterling when he left Man City?
No.
It didn't, did it?
No.
Did it translate with Gabby Jesus when he left Man City?
No.
No, it didn't, did it?
So is that just a factor of City are so good, whoever plays in that team is going to score goals and get assists? Is it that simple?
To simplify it, yes. But that's not me saying Julian Alvarez isn't a top quality player. Here is what I am saying, right? Manchester City, in my opinion, need no plan B. I just feel like Man City...
They play the way they want to play.
They'll play the way they want to play.
Maresca doesn't have a plan B, does he?
There. Well, with the personnel, maybe he would. Listen, a tradesman is only as good as the tools he has to work with. And I think by bringing in a striker that is more in the mould of a Victor Osimhen or a Benjamin Sesko in comparison to a Julian Alvarez, I think then we would be in a stronger position to have a plan B. Also, when we look at that, right, if Julian Alvarez is going to cost 70 million, mate, as much as you can say, deal done with PSG already, you can get Osimhen for around that.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
Osimhen is 120 million.
Yes, you can. If we offered them Romelu Lukaku, which would get his massive wages off our books, we'd be selling him in effect. If we offered Napoli Romelu Lukaku and then said, right, we'll give you the 70 that we were going to give for them, we'll give you that for Osimhen. 70 million of Romelu Lukaku would get you Victor Osimhen,
They're saying they want 30 odd million. I mean, they've bid a crazy low amount of money for Lukaku, haven't they? Isn't the total package for Lukaku they're offering is like about 16 million so far? They haven't hit the release clause. So
just quickly, hold on,
120, right?
Okay.
100. There's 50 million difference.
Right, okay. I think you can get him cheaper, but even if you can't get him cheaper,
you can't.
Right?
They said 120.
Okay, I think you can, but even if you can't, right? I think that then you look at Sesko, for example, 6'5", right? He's in a hot vein of form. He's scoring goals in
65 million euros.
What, for Sesko?
Yes, because the release clause has gone up. The release clause has gone up based on the performances. So the disparity in fee is not that much. And the thing you get with Alvarez is that he's guaranteed Premier League goals. Sesko could come in, he could be a complete flop.
I don't think Alvarez is guaranteed Premier League goals.
He scored goals in the Premier League. He's played in the Premier League for 3 seasons.
Well, no, he scored 11 goals in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, but he's played in the Premier League. He scored goals in the Prem. You have no idea.
He scored 11 goals in the Premier League.
It's not setting the world on fire, but again, he's playing behind Haaland. The key thing that he wants to do is
even
leave so he
more
can
reason
play.
To be scoring.
No, but as in he's not starting as a number 9 because Haaland is guaranteed to start.
Played 36 games this season.
Played 36 games as a winger, number 10 and number 9.
Okay, so where's he going to be playing for Chelsea?
He's going to be playing as number 9 for Chelsea.
Okay, so what we want to do is we want to bring in a guy that's played everywhere across the front line and gone, you are the strict number 9 in this system here. And we're also thinking about bringing in Elise. And we're also thinking about bringing a few of the players back on. It's more of what we've got, mate. It's more of what we've got. I'm telling you now, Benjamin Sesko is a better option for us than Julian Alvarez.
What are you basing that on, though?
I'm basing it on the fact that it can bring a different versatility to our team. It can allow us to play in different ways. I'm basing it on the fact that Julian Alvarez is a player that has scored one header in his entire professional career. And you go, well, of course he's not because of the height. Owen used to score headers. He weren't that tall. Do you know what I mean? You can say the game's moved on, but I'm just saying he's not a player.
You know, we did that video about Maresca and we talked about his style of play.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think Maresca is going to be lumping it up to a big number 9? Or doing crosses into a big number 9? I don't think Maresca is going to play anywhere near that type of football. I think it's going to be possession-based, and I think the Maresca's entire ethos, and actually the ethos of our football club right now, is tiki-taka, is moving the ball between the lines, is getting those sort of tap-ins, those sort of high XG goals. So I think, mate, that we're moving away. I think the football that you're describing is just generally a football that's dying out, but also at Chelsea, I feel that we're building our squads completely different and separate to the way of lumping it up to a big number 9.
We're not just building our squad, though, aren't we? Building our backroom staff as well.
Yep.
I'm sure we just brought in someone that was going to help us get more goals from set-piece situations, because the board looked at it and they said we weren't that happy with how many chances and goals we're getting from set-pieces. So let's go and get the Brentford set-piece coach. Let's bring him in because he's got a really good track record in helping teams convert from set-pieces. And then you are going to want a man who is renowned at getting his head on the ball and getting it into the goal hole.
Yes.
That's Benjamin Sesko.
There are lots of ways to score set pieces away from just sort of big headers.
Julian Alvarez is good at scoring a set piece as well, isn't he?
I think Julian Alvarez could be one of those players that wins gets a flick on and then slots it home with a little tap in.
We wouldn't be disappointed with either man coming in.
I wouldn't. I actually think, though, the economics of it, if it is £70 million and he's only £5 million more, I think it does make sense to move for someone like an Alvarez. I think it does. Sesko is the one that I've favoured for a long time. You know that I've backed him. In fact, we had a conversation where we were sat here right now and we were saying actually Sesko is the better deal over Osimhen. We both, you and I, agreed that. I think I sold you on it a couple of months ago, right? So I'm a big fan of him. But I think if an opportunity like this comes along and Alvarez is on the market, potentially looking for a new club, I think if you're looking at potential ceilings, the Alvarez ceiling might be slightly more. I don't know.
I think the Alvarez ceiling probably is more. Then I look at, getting Cole Palmer off of Man City and how that went, and that romanticises it for me.
It does.
So I'm not massively against it, but I am just like,
What I like about it, just last point on this, is the fact of you and I were sat here, we were talking about Nicholas Jackson being off the left-hand side, potentially being better as a winger, Cole Palmer being very good at interchanging, playing as a false 9, coming in and out, that sort of play. Then you've got Elise potentially coming in, who again can play all the way across the front line. Madueke loves to drift into positions. I think what's going to happen with Maresca is going to have a very fluid front three that are going to swap. And what I like about Alvarez is that Jackson can go into the number 9 position, Alvarez can go and slot in on the left-hand side, whereas Sesko is just an old-school number 9. And what you're saying is you like the fact that he is that, and what I'm saying is I like the fact that there's some versatility in between the front line, and I actually think that's the way that we're going to end up playing. And I think that's the way that City have ended up playing, and other big teams play now, even Arsenal, they rotate that front three. And almost going back to the old school days with Jose. Remember when Damien Duff and Arjen were swapping over? Do you know what I mean? Like, I like that. And even Liverpool, with the Bobby Firmino and Salah and Mane thing. When you think about really good front threes in recent times, they've been very fluid. Yeah. That's what I like about it.
It's a key point, really, you make there, because when you made the point there of, Sesko is just a number 9, I was thinking, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want to see the option of Chelsea playing for target man. However, in recent years, the last time we did bring in an all-out number 9 in Romelu Lukaku, it just did not work.
What about Morata before that? You could keep going on and on about huge number 9s we put on big wages, big money in terms of transfer fees, big money on agents' fees. And mate, we're cursed. We don't have a good record of that. And actually, we're not even talking about Christopher Nkunku either. But I think if you're talking about rotational sort of attackers and strikers, I think the system that we're describing now, where it is fluid, is the way to go.
One man that we didn't talk about in recent videos, and obviously he has signed for Chelsea, is Tosin Adarabioyo. Have I pronounced that right?
Yes, you have.
As good as I'm going to get it.
As
really.
good as either of us are going to get it.
6'5" defender coming in from Fulham. When you speak to the Fulham fans, especially, I've got a pal who's a Fulham fan. I was talking to him about this the other day, and they're going to really miss this boy. They were really, really keen on him. He had served them well over the years. Obviously, good passing range. Almost, ironically, as one door closes, another door opens. And stylistically, what I'm seeing from him, the bits and pieces I've watched, and obviously, listen, you watch all these players, but I don't feel like until they really come on my radar, I pay all that much attention. I was actually at Fulham home and away this season, so I've seen him play a couple of times. Stylistically, maybe the defender that we've got on our books that we would compare him to the most, ironically, seeing as this is a man we feel will be going, would probably be Trevor Chalobah, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's why I'm so gutted about this, actually. And I think this is a business signing, mate. I'm really sorry to say. I'm gonna sort of break up the sort of the confidence and I suppose the positivity here. I think this is one they've done because it makes sense from an economic perspective, rather than being a player that's out and out Chelsea quality, ready to slot into the first team. Like, he played 68% of the matches that he could have at Fulham. He's had a few injuries. I know what you're saying. The Fulham fans think he was a good player, but I don't remember us sort of going, he was a player of the week every week and he was, consistently in teams of the week. I don't think he's that sort of quality. And when I'm thinking about Chelsea players, I want them to be playing international football. I want them to be leading the line for their sort of their defence, in whatever system they're playing in. And I think this guy, the fact that he's on a 4-year contract doesn't really instill a lot of confidence in me. It seems like it's going to be one that they bring in, play him for a bit and move him on. Because let's be honest, in 2 years' time, he'll be on 2 years left of his contract and we'll be looking to sell. So I think this one is right timing. But I have to say, I don't think he's considerably better than Trev. And I would prefer to have kept Trev rather than signing this guy, because it seems like it's actually the death warrant for Trev in terms of his Chelsea career. I think it'll be him gone. And from that perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, I think it does make sense when you understand the game plan that the board have got here, in terms of they know they're going to be moving on Trevor Chalobah, they know they're going to be moving on Conor Gallagher. If you're new to the channel and you're thinking, these two seem a bit nonchalant about that, we just don't want to go over old ground. We do not want Trevor Chalobah to be sold. We do not want Conor Gallagher to be sold. We do not feel that the replacements that come in will fare better or do a better job for them or help progress this team better than Cobham graduates that have come through the club, understand the club, want to play for the badge, and ultimately would probably serve us better going forward. However, that is the route that they're going down, and we'd never get anything done if we just spent all day crying over spilt milk here. So,
do you think he starts at the start of next season? Bearing in mind Fofana is not going to be fit.
Will Fofana definitely not be fit?
Well, as in, like, he's going through pre-season now. Like, I think they're going to slowly integrate Fofana, especially how bad that injury was. I can't see him. I'll put a 5 on it now with you. I don't think Fofana will start the first Premier League game.
Who do we know? Sorry to sort of go off subject a little bit, but who do we know definitely isn't fit for the start of next season? Do we know for a fact that Romeo Lavia isn't? Or
Lavia's on grass.
He's on grass.
Fofana and Lavia are both on grass.
Well, he's got to get off that then, because he won't get nothing done if
Performance enhancers, some might say.
There you go.
So both of them are training right now, so they should be fit. I can't think of any that will miss the start of next season. I mean, Carney, you don't know. It's a big
Have we done
gamble,
Carney Chukwuemeka a disservice? Because when we spoke about Enzo Maresca's starting 11, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea team, we didn't really speak about Carney Chukwuemeka in there, and we should have done, because in an 8 role, maybe he's potentially one of our best options. I think he's absolutely great. I feel like when you did see him in the team, he was really good. Look at the Cole Palmer goal against Man United last ditch. That goal came about because Carney Chukwuemeka had nearly scored in that match, for example. Also, I can think of another brilliant goal, an unreal, exquisite, perfectly manoeuvred goal that Carney Chukwuemeka scored. And who was it against?
Leicester.
That
was an unbelievable goal. Who nuts too? Was it Cole Palmer nuts?
It would have been Palmer.
Yeah.
It would have been Palmer.
And then did Carney score the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. That was brilliant.
And
the West Ham goal, for me, the West Ham goal was one of my favourite goals of the season, actually, the way he smacked that in. I just think with him, We absolutely do have to talk about him. I think he will be a great player for us, but you just never know if he's going to be fit. It's the same thing with like Chilwell. Like, again, really rate Chilwell, but he's not in my starting 11 because Cucurella's amazing, but also he's not fit.
Tell you who else is starting 11 Chilwell ain't in.
England's.
Gareth Southgate. Now, we are going to be speaking about England in depth today. We're going to do a whole Euro 2024 preview and prediction video where we speak about all the teams and, preview the route to the final that England or anyone else for that matter could possibly be taking. But we're going to do an in-depth piece on England, on the group that we've got, on the personnel that we've got, on the manager that we've got, and speak about our chances. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. That's going to be dropping within the next couple of days. Have we got any more to add? Any breaking news?
Yes, we do have some breaking news.
We've got some breaking news.
On
breaking
Elise.
news.
So the breaking news on Elise coming from Fabrizio Romano, so you know that it's legit, is that we are further along in the race than Man United. Obviously, they're the other club that we're going against. They don't have a manager. They are the slowest football team in the world to do any transfers. So if Elise goes to Man United this summer, I will eat my hat.
Will you? Will you do it on camera? Is that a promise?
We'll try. We'll try and get it done. I think Elise to Chelsea is relatively likely now.
Is it nailed on?
No, it's not nailed on. It's not. Anything could happen with Man United. They could outbid us. I mean, there's a release clause, so hopefully he sort of just comes to the club that he wants to come to now at that point. But 60 million quid for Elise. We should have done it last summer. We could have got him for 35, but obviously something happened there and we didn't get him. I think it was mainly because he was injured at the time. I do worry about his injury record. I have to say that's really concerning. Bearing in mind he's coming into Chelsea and we have a habit of making injury records exacerbated.
What I would flip it though, and I would say his speed in getting to the level after coming back from injury has been exceptional, really. Yeah. Like, you see players sort of carefully manoeuvred back into the starting lineup, given a few minutes here and there. Elise just comes back and just on fire straight away, isn't he?
Is he better than Madueke?
Yeah.
How much? Because do you think we do Madueke a bit of a disservice? Because again, I was watching that video about all the goals we scored. Madueke scored some fucking good goals, and also his 1v1s, his dribbling. He's the best 1v1 player we got at Chelsea, I think.
He's one of the best 1v1s in the Premier League, Madueke. Yeah. I think he's very, very good, and I think that we do him a disservice. But I think that the scenario, the situation just does him a disservice in general, because I do think that if you had I always say this, if you had a Noni Madueke at a Crystal Palace for the whole of last season, we're going, wow. And the proof's in the pudding, because we literally have that exact situation in Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher's just had a really good season for Chelsea, but the season before, he spent the whole season back at Chelsea, scored some good goals, scored a last-ditch goal against Crystal Palace season before. A great goal at Selhurst Park, but he didn't get the same sort of plaudits to his season from his season with Chelsea than he did from the season prior, where he was ripping it up at Crystal Palace. So what I'm saying here is Michael Elise better than Madueke? Yeah, he is. I definitely think he is. But would Madueke be held in higher esteem if he'd been at a Crystal Palace this season? Yeah. So I think it works both ways.
I think he'd tear it up, Madueke at Palace. I think he'd be by far their best player.
Would you do a swap deal?
So good. I would know. I want to keep Madueke.
Yeah, I want to keep Madueke.
I actually think that Madueke. Let's rank our wingers right now. Obviously, you've got Mudryk number 1. I wanted to see if that would slide.
Are we calling Cole Palmer a winger?
Yeah, let's, for the sake of this, because he played mainly off the right. Okay. So Cole's our number 1.
Cole number 1.
Go on, who's number 2?
Noni Madueke number 2.
Yeah. Would you say that Nkunku is number 2 based on quality? But let's take if we take away last season before, so probably
Cole
Nkunku
Palmer number 1, Nkunku number 2, Noni Madueke number 3. I would go for this upcoming season. I would go Mudryk number 4 and Sterling number 5. However, if you're going on about last season, then Sterling number 4 and well, no, even higher, because I don't think if you're going on about last season, you put Nkunku as number 2, do you? So going forward, we can only put Sterling
above. I think you put Sterling above Madueke last season.
Yeah, so we can only look into the future. Going forward, our top 3 most important wingers going forward are Cole Palmer, Nkunku and Madueke, whatever,
And where does Elise fit into that? Elise would probably be. I mean, he gets into your starting 11.
Yeah.
So he's got to be top 2.
Yeah. Let's see. People, If you haven't already, smash the like button on this video. That actually helps us out more than you can believe. Help us out even more by hitting subscribe if you are not already subscribed. I think it's 60% of you of that aren't subscribed. Make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe to Josh's channel. It's linked in the description. And now we are about to shut the cameras off. Well, we're not about to shut them off. That sounds a bit weird. We're about to turn the video off. We're about to talk some England. So make sure you are locked in for that video. I will see you all in the next one.